Good morning and welcome to the Foster Swift Sports Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Russell. I'm joined by my co-host, Tony Delamonte. Today we're joined by Trav Moore from DeWitt High School. Trav, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So Trav is our the D-Zone and Foster Swift Sports Player of the Week this week. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You had a monster game. Let me see. You had 17 carries for 186 yards and 5 touchdowns. Is that correct?
That is.
And then you also threw for 56 yards.
Yep.
So we were just talking before we started recording that you play quarterback, but you're committed to Central as a running back. Is that right?
That is right.
Okay, so I guess kind of let's start with the game. Tell us about the game. You had a huge game. What was clicking? I mean, I guess everything, but
yeah, we have a lot of seniors on the team this year, so we're all just super close. Obviously, been playing since we were super young in 4th grade, so I think that's the start of it. Is we all have a super unique bond, and so when we're playing football, it's just another game with the guys. Truly, it's just us and playing football. We have a special connection, I think, that not a lot of teams really have. We're all super close, and I think that kind of contributes to the success on the football field.
So you had 5 touchdowns. After 2 or 3, you were like, all right, we'll see how many we can get here.
I didn't even realize how many touchdowns I really had till the end of the game, and they told me I had 5 touchdowns. I was really just out there playing. I wasn't really worried about how many touchdowns I was scoring, so I didn't really realize that I had 5 touchdowns till the end of the game.
Yeah, that's great. And you guys are 5-0, right?
We are, yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned that you've got a lot of seniors. You guys have been playing together for a while. Did you know going into the season that, hey, we've got a chance to, have some success, things are clicking?
Yeah.
Did you know that before the season?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, last year we had a super successful season. Didn't end how we wanted to, but I think that also contributed to this year. A lot of guys that are super hungry and that want to win. Obviously, got some younger guys that play super big roles for us too that are the same way, want to win, or super hungry.
Yeah, and I think the D-Zone has you ranked as the number 2 team in the state in Division III. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think King, they've got a number 1 right now.
I think
so
King, yeah, they have King
and then
at 1.
De La Salle was behind you guys. So Division III is really competitive. So I mean, what's your approach now? You're a little over midway through the season. Are you guys taking it one game at a time?
For sure, one game at a time. Obviously, you're always looking ahead, trying to see what everybody else is doing, but really just trying to stay focused one game at a time and just take it game by game and enjoy it. It's our senior season, so.
And we were talking before, they got you at quarterback, but 186 rushing yards as well, and I think you're leading the state in rushing, and you're also up there for passing yards. So do you prefer to, what's your preference, running the ball, passing the ball?
Definitely prefer to run the ball.
Okay.
That's what I've always enjoyed doing, but we have a little pop pass that I'm kind of known for. Everybody just kind of talks about the jump pass and that. I enjoy throwing that, and I enjoy throwing the ball too, but definitely would prefer to run the ball.
And we talked about it a little bit before it came on, but so how was that you became quarterback? We'll get into your recruitment a little bit, and I know that's as a running back, but how did you start as the quarterback?
Yep. So 4th grade, started as a quarterback. Kind of grew up wanting to play quarterback. That was always what I wanted to do, was play quarterback. And then once I got to my freshman year, I started on the defensive side of the ball. And then sophomore year, played both running back and defense. And then junior year, did the same thing. And now this year, I'm playing quarterback. So
how did a coach come to you over the summer and be like, hey, Trav, I think we're going to put you back there at quarterback?
I think we always kind of knew that I was going to go in at quarterback. Last year, I was the backup quarterback. So we kind of knew going into the season that I might be playing quarterback. And then once we got into the winter, that's what I started working at, was quarterback, and I was throwing the ball on the weekends with the guys. So kind of knew that I was going to be stuck in that position.
So are you guys running read options every play? Like how does 200 yards rushing work for a quarterback?
Definitely a lot of
5 rushing touchdowns, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So definitely a lot of read option. We run a lot of single wing. That's been kind of our thing since I've been in high school, has been the single wing. Coach Zim has one of his friends come up from Florida that runs single wing and reteaches us each year. And I think that's part of our success, is that single wing.
That's awesome.
So let's talk about your recruitment a little bit. Walk us through what that journey looked like.
Yeah, so I had a lot of Ivy League offers, and then talked to a bunch of MAC schools, had Toledo and Central, and then once the new staff came in at Central, Coach Drinko came in to the school and talked with a bunch of my buddies. That was the first time interacting with him, and from that first time, there was something different about him that I haven't saw with a lot of head coaches and a lot of coaches in general. He reminded me a lot of Coach Zim, and I love Coach Zim, so he kind of reminded me of Coach Zim. And once I got to Central for a spring practice, that just made me fall in love with Central even more.
And Coach Drinkle, he came over from Army, is that right? Okay.
Yep. He was an offensive line coach at Army.
Okay. So maybe they'll start running your guys'.
Yeah, I know Coach Zim goes over there a lot and just kind of talks through concepts with him and a bunch of run game stuff. So.
And you're a senior, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So did you get Ivy League offers when you were a junior? I guess at what point in the process did that sort of start with you?
So my junior year is definitely when I started to get a lot of my offers, and then I actually got Toledo It was my freshman year that I got my Toledo offer, and then my junior year is when I started to pick up a lot more offers.
So were you doing 7-on-7 and all that?
Yeah, so I didn't do a whole bunch of 7-on-7. I did a little bit with some teams, but I didn't do a whole bunch of 7-on-7. I didn't really find 7-on-7 as a beneficial thing for me. Obviously, go out and compete with guys and run around and learn stuff, but I didn't find it as beneficial for me.
So what's your advice to the younger guys that are out there, trying to get recruited now? What worked for you?
Just keep your head down and work hard. That's been my main thing, is work hard. And my dad has always preached to me that if you're good enough, they're going to find you. And I definitely went out to camps and went camping and went around to a bunch of different schools. But the big thing I always thought is if you're good enough, they're going to find you. And that's kind of been my mentality through this whole thing, is that if you're good enough, they're going to find you. And so I think that just kept me in a mindset of I got to go, I got to work. So. And
you're recruited as a running back, right? Okay. Were they looking at any other positions, quarterback, defense?
I don't think so. I think I've always kind of been at running back. With this new staff, that's all I really talked to them about, is been running back. So there's some other schools that have looked at me for running back and the defensive side of the ball. But as far as Central, it's been running back.
So were you doing emails out to schools, camps, all those things?
Yep. So definitely emailing schools, going out to camps. But like I said, Dad has always just preached, like, you gotta go, you gotta work hard, put your head down and grind, and that's kind of been my mentality.
So outside of football, obviously your practices and games and things like that, are you doing workouts other places?
Yep. So I work out with Nate Schaefer at 3D Athletes. I know he's been on here. So I've been working out with him since I was in, I think, 7th grade, I believe, is when I started working out with him. And he's been a big part of my success. He's not only the guy that I go and see to work out, and he's not only beneficial from that aspect, but he's also a mentor for me and a leader for me. I get a lot of advice from him and a bunch of different stuff. So I
get a lot of advice from him too. He called me yesterday.
Awesome. Really? Get your head right, Dave. In terms of, I guess, do you have a favorite moment so far at DeWitt, either football or? I know you play other sports, right?
Yep. I play baseball as well. I think last year, that whole year was super special. My class and the class above me, so the guys that just graduated, we were all super close, and I think that's the closest team I've really been on. I mean, we hung out every day after practice, outside of school. So I think that whole season was just super special. I don't even think there was one moment where I could pick out. It was just that whole season was super special.
Is there one player that sticks out in your mind that you've played against? You're like, man, he hit me hard, or when you're on defense, he was hard to cover.
There's definitely been a lot. I remember my freshman year when I was playing defense. I was guarding Evan Boyd, and that was difficult for sure, especially being a freshman and having to guard a guy of his talent and his size. That stuck out to me. Obviously, Corey, super elusive back. But yeah, those are two guys that definitely stuck out to me.
Yeah, and I was actually there for your first game. So Corey Mockery is a client of ours, and he's a family friend of mine. And so I was out there for the first game and watched you beat them. And so, but what I find really impressive is the football program, from the coaching staff to your fans, everything. Metro Detroit obviously gets a lot of love when it comes to their talent, but I think we have a lot of talent right here in the area.
For sure. I think there's a lot of talent that people really don't know about, and a lot of that, when you think about, Friday Night Lights in high school football, I think a lot of places around here really have that atmosphere. And I could say for us at least, DeWitt has been super special. The atmosphere we get every Friday night I haven't found many places that are much better. The support we have from the community, the support for the team, for Coach Zim, is really, it's special. And I think that's a lot of Coach Zim and kind of what he's done at DeWitt.
And where do you think that comes from? Is it the buy-in from, when you came in as a freshman, did you see seniors who were buying in? Does it come from the coach? I
would definitely say the coaching staff and the buy-in from the team. Definitely Coach Zim and that whole coaching staff. That I don't think there's a coaching staff like them. They truly pour everything they got into it, not only to be successful on the field, but being successful off the field too. They're bought in with each kid's life on the team, just off the field too. I know there's countless of times where Coach Zim has talked to this guy or that guy about what's going on off the field, family issues, whatever it is. So they're really bought into each and every kid on the team, and then bought into football specifically. I know Coach Zim goes around a bunch of different states to, like I said, go over schemes and concepts with different coaches, and he goes down south a lot with a bunch of different coaches down there. And then my freshman year, I definitely saw, coming up to varsity, just a buy-in from a lot of different guys, a lot of different seniors. Matt Neff specifically was a big role model for me. I know he was taking me to practice, taking me to lifts in the morning. That was really my mentor. My freshman year was Matt Neff. He really took me under his wing and kind of showed me the ropes of DeWitt football, I guess you could say. And then there was obviously Bryce Kearns, Blake Haller, just so many seniors that were really bought into the DeWitt football program.
So you got Holt this weekend, is that right?
Yep.
Okay. How are we feeling?
Feeling good.
Thursday?
Obviously, we're just focused on ourselves right now and getting better. Last week, obviously, played a good game, but a lot of penalties that we had that game that we definitely need to get cleaned up if we want to make a run into playoffs. So definitely just focusing on us and getting better each day.
And I also see that you're a really good student too, as well. Is that right?
Yep. So I got a 3.7 right now.
Right.
Well, that is great. And I mean, obviously you have a really good football IQ. I mean, you're a running back that's playing quarterback. That's so impressive.
Are you leaving for Central in January?
I am. Yep.
Okay.
So I'm gonna graduate early and go up there and get started with Central early. So
how does that process work? So do you have to go talk to like your school administrators and be like, hey, I need to cram a bunch of classes in?
Pretty much.
Okay.
So when I first started talking with Coach Cronin, who's my running backs coach, that was kind of a conversation, was maybe wanting to go up there early. And as we got closer and closer to the start of the school year, kind of got more of a bigger conversation, and talking with my family and whatnot, I decided I wanted to go early. And so, I was pretty much going to my counselor and telling her that I wanted to graduate early. And so had to cram a lot of core classes in for these first 2 terms that we got here, but it's nothing crazy. 4 core classes. It's just staying in the books, and like I said, it's just like I talk about when my dad preached, like just staying down and staying to the grind and getting it done in the books.
That's great.
Well, it's really exciting too.
Yeah, I always was. So I was a walk-on at Michigan, and the guys who would come in January, they were so much more prepared when camp came around in August, rather than the guys who just got on campus a month ago. They're trying to figure out where they live. You get the time to sort of figure all of those things out.
Yep.
It might be a little bit of a culture shock initially, but
sure.
I think that happens to everyone.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was one thing that was talked about, is just how much more just successful I could be just going in early. And like you said, being able to know where everything's at. Obviously, time management is a big thing in high school, but you're taking a big jump going to college and learning time management for not only football, but your academics too. So definitely excited to get up there early, and I think it would be super beneficial.
That's great.
So what can we look for the rest of the season?
Hopefully a state championship. That's what we're going
Love
for, a state championship. Just a bunch of guys that are super committed and really bond together. I think that's what you're going to see a lot of, is just when something isn't going our way, just that connection is going to be super helpful for us, just because when things might not be going our way, there's easy fixes for us.
Well, we're rooting for you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, so when you get that state championship, can we have you and Coach Zimmerman come?
For sure.
Come on.
100%. 100%. We'll be here. We'll be here. All right. We'll be here. For sure.
Great. We'll celebrate it right here.
For sure.
Love it.
We'll be here.
Yeah.
I got a question for you, though.
Yeah.
What was the biggest thing you took from being a walk-on at Michigan?
Just the daily grind, kind of like what you said. It's a lot of work. A lot of times it's not a lot of fun.
Yep.
But you'll have moments where you're like, okay, this is why I do it. You know,
sure.
you run out of the tunnel. You know, you're in front of a bunch of people. You get some cool gear.
Yep.
You know, you develop the bond with some really great athletes.
Yep.
Which is, you know, anywhere you're going to experience that too. So I think that was the biggest thing
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, and Tony doesn't talk much about. He doesn't pat himself on the back much. But he did tell me that he was voted by his teammates after 4 years as the walk-on of.
Yeah. So I was scout team player of the year. So you know, I was a scout team defensive guy, and then I didn't play offense, but all the special teams as well. And so, you know, I'm sure you'll have walk-ons at Central. It's a little bit more of a grind. You got a little bit more of a chip on your shoulder,
for sure.
But you know, I love the you know, being with the guys, you know, working every day, and then you know, I took a lot of pride in getting the team ready for whatever opponent we were playing that week.
100%.
So
I think that's a big thing in college football right now. Is not even right now, but in the past has been a lot of, like, you see the videos of walk-ons getting scholarships and stuff like that. I think
there's nothing better.
I think that's truly what makes just the game of football in general special, is just that bond and that connection you have with the guys around you and your coaches. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's a different world now too, with the whole revenue sharing thing, which obviously you going through recruiting recently, you dealt with that.
Yep.
You know, so
for sure.
It's
definitely a different world.
It's definitely a different world.
For sure.